What is the best thing the 49ers have done this season?
I think the best thing Niners have done this season is shown how good they can be without Christian McCaffrey, how effective they can be without, like, when we had Mason and Garendo, showing how good those two can be shows that Kyle has it in him somewhere to not lean on McCaffrey. It's just, will he continue to do it when he has McCaffrey?
Yeah, I think he's always going to be leaning on McCaffrey. I think some of those draft picks were good. I mean, this team has to reload. It's gotten too old. They've had some bad drafts back to back, and all of a sudden they get Renardo Green, Dominic Pooney, Malik Mustafa. Those three look like three starters. Yeah. Isaac Garendo looks like a good backup, and Ricky Pearsall, Jacob Cowing to be determined. I'm not writing them off. They look like they haven't gotten any opportunity, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, the three main, the Pooney, Green, and Malik look amazing. You can't write them off. I actually think Pearsall is a whiff at this point, especially when you think about Ladd McConkey being drafted after him. You have receivers behind him that, in my opinion, you could have done more with. But again, I think if he got some of Debo's targets, you never know what could have happened with him. And then, Garendo kind of reminds me of Mostert a lot. Like, he runs fast in a straight line, and
yeah, he looks solid. I think he looks like he has potential as a receiver. I like what he can do as a receiver. He clearly wasn't 100% healthy in this last game. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we just named two things the Niners did good this year. They beat the Seahawks. Seahawks are in first place.
Beat the Bears and Thomas Brown. Put a smackdown on them. Beat Caleb Williams with Mr. Irrelevant.
They gave Brandon Ayuk a lot of money.
Locked
him up for a long time.
We're cutting Hargrave.
That's a good move.
That's another good one.
I don't want to miss anything.
Figured out you have to move on from Jair Brown. That's another good one, I guess. You figured it out before it was too late.
We figured out that they need to move on from Debo. I think the whole world understands they need to move on from Debo. I don't know if they do.
I don't think Kyle wants to move on from Debo.
They learned some very important things about Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
I mean, what's interesting about him compared to Jimmy is Jimmy came here older. He had that little run at the end of 2017, just like Brock had at the end of 2022, and they had to pay him. Mm-hmm. Thank goodness the Niners didn't have to pay Brock at the end of that, because they would have. And now I think they've gotten so much more evidence that if they wanted to actually make a smart business decision, they don't have to just give him $250 million.
I think another underrated thing with Purdy too is this is his second, because some people are thinking, oh, he might still be hurt with the shoulder. If he is, that's his second throwing arm injury in 3 years. Do we really want to pay someone with an already below average arm, above average accuracy, sure, anticipation time, whatever. He already had a below average arm coming into the league, and he's hurt it now. He's hurt his shoulder in his throwing arm and torn his UCL in his throwing arm. To me, that's not a combination of, let's give this guy, even when people are saying 40 to 50, I give him 25 to 30, but
I wouldn't give him anything. I would say, look, man, you got one more year in your contract. Sorry. Play it out. And we're drafting a quarterback, maybe in the first round.
I guess we can, when we get to that point, I would agree with drafting.
But let's say positive. Other good things the Niners did this year. Dre
Greenlaw is still insane. That's a positive.
Yes.
He was everywhere.
Incredible. Yeah.
I've never seen, I saw someone, I forgot who tweeted it, but someone said they must have had different surgeon. I think Ryan Clark said it, that Kirk Cousins and Dre Greenlaw must have had different surgeons on their Achilles, because Kirk can barely move and Dre Greenlaw's all over the field. And I couldn't believe, he didn't look like he missed a beat. He looked all right, I'm just going to pick up where I left off before I ran out on the field during the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. Also, the Diamondor Lenore season, the extension, it looks like he's going to live up to that. It doesn't seem like he's going to be a guy who all of a sudden is on a rocking chair thinking about the good old days. It seems like he has something to prove going forward. So I like just his whole story.
He's the epitome of 49er football in my head. Hard, tough, always improving, getting better, willing to learn, takes accountability. That's the one thing I will give Brock is he's very accountable for someone that's had such a rough year. And it's like the antithesis of Kyle. Like he is completely accountable no matter what. Like even last night, just like I failed my team. Yeah, you did. But it's great to hear a quarterback say it because Jimmy didn't really say it much. Kyle never says it. So it's good to have that voice on the team.
It's interesting to see what the defense can do with Greenlaw and Hufanga on the field together.
I wrote Hufanga off too.
Yeah. He's such a good player.
But that kind of poses an interesting question. Is he really that good, or is Jair Brown that bad? Where Hufanga's stepping in, or is it a mix of both?
I think with Hufanga, he's good against the run. He gets himself I feel like he breaks up one pass a game. Maybe I'm wrong, but like he was right in perfect position for that one. If he didn't have a club on his hand, he probably intercepts it. That's him. He just seems to be in the right place at the right time. And it seems like he makes sure everyone else is in the right place at the right time. And the fact that he's missed most of the last 2 seasons, I feel like he should be probably open to signing a 1-year contract.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good that they remembered how important he was. When they had the number 1 defense in the league a couple of years ago, he was a big part of that. He had an all-pro season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, he looked incredible, and it looked like Sorensen kind of missed it. It looks like we missed both. Greenlaw and Hufanga need to be signed. Like I think that's another good thing I guess we found out before the season end, because who knows what would happen? What if Greenlaw couldn't have come back? What if Hufanga couldn't have come back? And now they have to get paid, and what do you do? Now we saw at least like you can build a team because we do have good, like we were talking about Demo, we have a lot of young pieces. Greenlaw, Fanga, Demo, BA, Garendo. So you find out been pretty positive about San Francisco, for what happened. Like they do have a lot of positivity going into next season. I don't think all hope's lost. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, the retool's coming. Sure, every team has to do it, but we have pieces in place to do it at least.